Hey guys, you're watching Focus Point with Igor Ryabenkiy. On my channel, we discuss everything about venture world, how to find startup ideas, how to get motivations, and your fastest way to success. Today, it is a special edition. I have my special guest, Nadav Shoval. He is a founder and CEO of OpenWeb company. And I'm very glad to have such a guest because...
Thanks for having me.
Thank you, Nadav, to be in my channel today. Because OpenWeb is a very special company altogether, and it is a very special company for myself. His company became first Israeli unicorn in my portfolio, and this company became a world-known leader in his industry and has a lot of very sound customers. Before we start, please don't forget to subscribe to my channel and like, share, repost. It is all highly appreciated. Nadav, glad to hear you again and glad to have you here. Tell us, please, what is really OpenWeb about, so our listeners and potential users and customers will better understand what we are discussing.
Sure. So OpenWeb is a platform. It's a platform to help publishers to bring back their users to their platform, to their apps. Our mission is to fight to improve online conversations and to bring back the audience to the publishers. The technological aspect, we're helping publishers to host conversations with our tools, to host user engagement with messaging and stuff like that. And our most important tool is to really help publishers not only to host those conversations, we're helping them to change their business model by bringing back more the audience, knowing more about their audience, and then over time better monetize the audience. So it's almost like a social media as a service where we are really focusing on the moderation aspect and the privacy of the users.
So, and the model is so exciting. So OpenWeb was able to bring greatest name of all spectrum of media as its customers. Today, such giants as Huffington, Yahoo, CNN, Fox, US Today, to name them few, are customers, and they enjoy their own social network built on base of OpenWeb product, and they really build their users community. How you come to idea, how you start your company, and what was your motivation just to make the special startup?
Taking a step back, online conversations was something I just really liked. I grew up, that's basically where I spent most of my time, on chat, on messaging, forums, whether I was building them or participating in conversations. And I didn't finish high school. So after the military, which is mandatory in Israel, I was like, okay, so what's next? What do I really want to do? And starting a business just felt like the right thing. And specifically, our mission is something that I always find very important because online conversation is something that we all participate in our day-to-day, and they happen to be a huge portion of our time. But unfortunately, I think in the past decade or so, they became a little bit toxic. So I felt like it's just a very important topic to spend time and focus on. Just something that I saw and I was interacting and part of maybe the early 90s, like online conversations. And it felt to me back then in like 2015 or 16 that there is an opportunity to create a new type of a company that will be able to create online conversations, but hopefully create a better atmosphere for people to share and exchange ideas without being attacked.
But when you get for this idea, What are next steps? What you did to start and how you followed?
I think first off, I was fairly naive, which is a great thing. So I didn't have a great plan. The only plan I had is to speak with as many people as I can and get as much feedback as possible. So I just started to meet mostly publishers back then and try to understand what they need and what's happening. I find it very interesting after speaking with them that Facebook back then and others, Google, are kind of harming content creators. So I felt, I don't know, if I'll speak with enough investors, I think I spoke with at least like back then, like, I don't know, 50 or 60. Eventually, one of them would tell me yes, and that's only what you need. So after having enough coffees, eventually get one yes.
How you were able to sell idea of your product and then product itself to publishers?
With just an idea, I try to understand what is the real pain point. And as soon as I understood the common pattern of all the content creators having issues, which are pretty similar, when we launched the product, I was calling back to people that I was interviewing doing the product ideation and say, hey, remember you told me you have this challenge? We launched this product and we might be able to solve some of your issues. Hey, can you give me a feedback? So it became like they felt part of it, if it makes sense.
If you want to change world, if you really want to make great products, work on your pitch and on your big vision. Despite it was no cash yet for startup, and it was just MVP, really, it was not real users, at least for global market. Nadav told me, okay, look, in a year, we have like 80% of greatest publishers will be our clients. This vision and his energy, I trusted that it will happen. For sure, I get reserves that it will not happen so fast. But in reality, it happened. It is first time I am to your office here. I was in office for OpenWeb many times, but not particular. How do you like it here?
I love it. It's a pretty creative part of the city, so I always wanted to be here. I love it here.
And it is quite empty. It's people on vacation, or it's because we started late?
I think it's because we started pretty late. Also, Monday people work from home.
So you have you don't really require every employee to be all the time at office. It is kind of hybrid model.
Yeah, it's a team by team. Some R&D folks, they like to be more in person. Some salespeople like to be more or less. So I think every office, London office is different than the Paris office, and Tel Aviv is different than New York.
And who is coordinated all this stuff, all people, offices? You do, or operation officer does it?
Usually it's the operation and people teams are doing those stuff. They are very good at it.
And for you, you enjoy more staying here in office and speaking to your staff, so on, or more like working from home, or more traveling between offices?
I like to be with the team. So whatever I can be with the team, whether it's here or in one of the other offices, I do enjoy mostly spending time with the team. I think creativity happens when people are together. So I think working from home is very good to achieve things done and have a deep work, but for creativity in person is very important.
We continue our time journey. So when you started, it is clear you already have vision and you even were able to sell this vision to investors. But how you collected team and how you were able to set goals to make a real step in the right direction. So how you finally establish your product, business model, go to market and team, please.
I think it's starting from creating alignment and make sure that everybody understand both the opportunity and the challenge, like laser clear and super focused. when it comes to the first team, obviously this is the hardest part by far. Getting the right people that can create the product and can bring it to market and hopefully over time monetize it and then scale it. But what I find is the most critical part, which I think you and I discussed many times, is the focus. Is to make sure that both investors, partners, the team, everybody understand exactly what is the challenge we're trying to tackle, how we're going to do it, and what is the potential opportunity if we achieve it. And I think it really helped us also at the beginning because some of our early back then competitors, they were trying to do a lot of things. And we just said, okay, we're going to focus on moderation, which is like trust and safety. You know, we're going to create the best algorithm on this aspect and scale from there. So I think not trying to achieve too many things in the beginning, but really finding the one pain point in the market and make sure that the team is really excited about it and really understand what does it mean to solve it and why it's so important, and also the investors and the partners. So I think alignment and focus is the way to achieve alignment.
And what was your pitch, like very, very short, like one phrase sales pitch to your clients, to your publishers? Because you really spoke to big names and you were able to convert them to paid customers quickly. So what were magic words you told them?
I'm not going to make money if you don't make money. I'm going to create a business model which is fully aligned again with you. I'm going to be very open on how we make money, how you make money, but we also want to be, I told them, transparent to the users with their data and stuff like that. And I think as soon as create the business model that solved the pain and the issues of our partners and was scalable and simple again to understand, publishers pretty fastly adopted it. But I think a lot of times there's issue of the go-to-market, the pricing, the timing, or whatever. So being able to go to the publishers, understand their motivation, and create a win-win-win business model allowed us to scale pretty quickly.
How you were able to motivate team, especially before first investment came, and how you were able to keep them motivated after you started already your path having investment?
You know, I'll be honest, this is the hardest thing, especially as a young founder, is how to get people to be excited about something that they not necessarily originally came up with, but over time can almost adopt and scale. For me, it was very simple. Openness, transparency, but also being able to identify what I'm not good at and what others are maybe better at, and surround myself with people that can complete each other. And maybe given my dyslexia and other type of letters like ADHD, it was very clear that I'm not, great at few things and maybe okay at some other things. And it kind of forced me to focus again and know who are the people I need around me in order to compensate for the things that I'm not thriving at.
So you found good people for real operations. I remember those times. You were very young when we
Well, I started the company when I was 21.
Yeah. So I remember you told me that you sleep just a few hours during night, and at the time you are just thinking and working.
Well, I think in the first maybe 4 or 5 years, especially when I moved to the city, I was, to New York, I was kind of the first employee. When you're the product tech, sales, marketing, and office manager, you got to put the time in the beginning. Unfortunately, I'm not very proud of it, but I wouldn't sleep more than 2 or 3 hours a night for maybe a few years. Again, I'm not very proud of it. Now I sleep 6-7 hours a night, and I try to take care of my, health and mental health and do meditation, all the kumbaya, because it's not very scalable. But the first few years, it was a grind. It still worked pretty hard, but back then it was It was interesting times.
Tell me, this time, first it was like very tiny team, small startup, then start develop. You moved headquarters from Tel Aviv to New York, and okay, but team continued to grow in Israel, and it was already necessary to manage bigger team. Then you got like really huge customers, and it is necessary to provide really high level service. So how you manage it, and how your team evolved, and how you managed to, okay, you better tell me what was your HR approach, how you attract best talents and motivate them.
So again, I guess we made tons of mistakes because
I remember some.
like create a world-class customer success, B2B enterprise was not something that I had a lot of knowledge about, or neither the people around me. But I guess that every time we made a mistake, we tried to post-mortem, take it back, understand how we can do it better. When we just became, as part of the DNA of the business, the alignment with the content creator is part of the reason why we wake up in the morning. So it's more than the service, it's more than the SLA or the technological availability. It's about the culture in the business, from the engineer to myself to design, product. Everybody knows that in order for OpenWeb to be successful, the content creators must be very successful. And it goes down to, yes, partner success and account managers and support, but also to the technological aspect of how we go to market to make sure we are protecting them and providing them the best support in the world. I always said, like, my vision when it comes to media, given that everybody tried to screw up with publishers, we want to provide the Zappos of kind of media when it comes to service.
Just remark here, SLA, what Nadav told, SLA is service level agreement. It means just you should provide high level of service, is in contract, or you just lost your customers. Now, okay, I was sure that OpenWeb had a great idea from the beginning. It was a really bright idea. Today it stays, the market has confirmed this. But any right idea attracts many teams in the world who want to fulfill it. So for sure, you had competition in the beginning, and you have competition now. Could you just share with us who were your competitors at the beginning, and today you have same competitors, or it changed because you become bigger and product evolved?
Yeah. When we started, we had a lot of competition. I think several of them are not around anymore, or I think most of them, but given that we expanded the platform into newsletter, user profile, analytics, monetization, so now we have new competitors in any new vertical that we're getting into. But our philosophy is very simple. We want to double down on moderation, which is trust and safety from technological competitive mode perspective, but also on privacy and trust and safety. So eventually, when a user will land on a page, let's say Wall Street Journal, in the future, in the world when privacy is so important, OpenWeb will provide them the way to or put their email, consent to see ads, or to pay $9.99, let's say, to Wall Street Journal with OpenWeb payments system as well. We are kind of the word of trust, if it makes sense, because users will need to trust OpenWeb with their data, with their payments methods or whatever. And our promise is to try to stay between the user, the publisher, and potential advertisers across the open internet, open web, and provide this layer of trust and safety, moderation, and privacy without screwing up with anyone. And competition is something that we can only be ahead of by creating a better technological leverage. 10x technological leverage is something I truly believe in. So we took over the market not by building just more features, is by being the best at trust and safety and moderation. Hopefully, we will be the best when it comes to privacy and monetization online in the future. Because I think there's a big correlation between trust and safety and privacy and monetization online. So I believe that if OpenWeb will stick to those values and those strategies long term, we'll be able to capture more and more market. And the only way to do it is by creating world-class technology that's solving those two problems, trust and safety and privacy.
Guys, don't be afraid of competition. Competition is always here. If you don't see competitors for your idea, could be only two reasons for it. Either you do something that nobody needs, or you did bad choice. Also, don't be afraid that somebody has stolen your idea. You should just go fast and be best. It is easy to tell, but great projects only happen this way. You should be ahead, as Nadav told. You should really move fast, and in every moment, even for people who try to follow, they don't know what you're doing next. And your next move is winning.
100%.
How to find your investor? It is one question. Second, how to sell to investor? And let's start with these questions, and then I have a few more questions about this.
So again, in the beginning, I don't know if I can be the best advisor, because in the beginning, I think that I was pretty bad at raising money because I met so many investors who told me no. But over the time, what I realized is that I should focus more on building a real relationship with investors and not be as transactional. But don't waste each other's time. So being able to form real relationship with potential investors, keep them up to date even when you don't raise money, but then when you raise money, be able to continue the conversation and hopefully bring it to the finish line. I think that the common issue among entrepreneurs is that they don't really understand what the investors are kind of looking for, and the alignment from early stage, finding the right investor that can support you through the journey and be able to be patient if needed and provide you more capital and others. It's so essential for the business. Yeah, and I wish that at the early stage I would have more learning and experience. But hey, you
were too young.
But you and I met, and it was thanks to the fact that I was listening to feedback to other investors, going to market, adapting my pitch, and hopefully going back and again. But I don't think there is an easy way to do it except starting by going to investors, getting feedback, and then going again to market and again.
Guys, your investors, your great helpers, they sit in the same boat with you. So don't limit yourself only to getting check from investor. Build a relationship. Provide information of what's going on. Ask for feedback. Get advices. It's very important, and it comes to satisfaction and comes to great success. So
100%. And I think lastly about kind of investors and raising capital, more than the raising capital, what's important to understand is the day after, right? You need to operate the business. There is expectation on both sides. It's a long-term relationship. Being able to be strategic with investors, get their feedback, adopt if needed the presentation deck, or the company if needed, the strategy sometimes, unfortunately. It's a collaboration, and the ones that do it well and adapt, I think long-term it's pretty beneficial journey.
Okay, let's speak not only about good. Every journey includes some hindrance, some mistakes. Did you do any?
So many. Hopefully, I learned from few of them at least. What I would say that biggest challenge and mistake that I made was not understanding what's my responsibility between being a founder and CEO maybe in the beginning. Again, how to do everything yourself and how to grow people. And I think that in early days, I didn't truly understand how to motivate people as well. I wasn't a good listener. I thought that I know better. I always say, OpenWeb, we have maybe like 3 spin-offs from early day. We tried so many different routes. I truly believe that if I would listen to people around me, I might save myself, at least a few good years of my life, which was good education. But truly, if I kind of summary that, the not listening is coming usually for entrepreneurs and myself from being very assertive of what's going to happen. But being able to listen and collaborate while still being assertive, I think what brought OpenWeb to true scale. Because I think my hunch, my gut, the data showed me that what we want to do was right, but how to get there, it's challenging in the day-to-day. And being able to not only surround myself with good people, but to let go, to listen and allow them to, as you say, make mistakes as well. And learn from it and create a culture when people know that we move fast, we make mistakes, we learn from mistakes, and we hopefully get better and we move fast. This is kind of, I think, over time what changed it. But I don't think I was a good listener, and I think I made a lot of mistakes because of that. And I'm still kind of, as you can see, hyperactive and all over the place, but hopefully a little bit better listener.
Okay, now you have a company already like on growth stage. What is your main focus today? You tune product, or you're more concentrated on mergers and acquisitions? Or what is really difference?
My passion is always more about the product and technology. Everything around M&A, corp dev, it's more the operational build vs buy. Yeah, but I think product strategy and where the market is heading, there's a lot of changes happening in the world. From trust and safety, we have here election in the US, right? And next year there is in the UK. And I think that moderation, misinformation, disinformation from technological perspective and commercial perspective are very important. So this is one focus. The other one, there's a lot of changes in the way that online marketing and advertising has been operated for years. Something called cookies is being deprecated, and there's a lot of changes. We would like to assist content creators and advertisers to be able to continue to flourish in a world without cookies, while respecting the people's first-party data and privacy. So those are the focus of the business. I spend most of my time around strategy of product and tech. How can tech solve those issues? Because we are a tech company, so we need to scale. That's one. And two is about finding the best people in the world. I'm really focusing on finding good talent, and that's where I try to spend at least most of my time.
In this situation, may I ask you that you somehow really try or do break monopoly in advertisement world and about users data world? Could you explain a little bit more about this? Because it could be very important not only to your current customers, but also for creators, emerging and big publishers who want to get more competitive.
100%. In the end of the day, the TAM of advertising is around $400 billion worldwide, including big tech, including Instacart, even Uber got some ads, right? Everybody got some of it. We believe that in the future, all those, let's say 400 billion plus minus online budget will go through a lot of change given trust and safety and privacy. We believe that the privacy of the user is very important, and we think content creators are here to stay. And we think that over time, by sticking to those, we'll be able to gain more and more market share and hopefully change our SAM and TAM and grow into it. But honestly, we do believe there is a better way to do it, because maybe they've been not so symbiotic to the marketplace and they kind of cannibalize publishers and advertisers. So if we can find a better, more scalable model, which sounds kind of a best case scenario, but I think it's what we're on to.
So you still have ongoing challenge, but you're already able to help people. We speak about growth, but we can also share some achievements. So how many users do you have now? And how many eyeballs go through OpenWeb pages, say, every month?
So today we have around 150 million monthly active users in North America, and like billions of
eyeballs,
ad impressions and eyeballs. And, I feel responsible. I feel responsible to make sure that we are creating better conversations on all these like large publications and media houses, and hopefully provide people a safer space and better online conversations.
Nadav, let's discuss how situation in internet changes during this 10 years. You mentioned, and we know that 10 years ago, toxicity was already big problem, and it was necessary to find against it somehow. How it developed during 10 years? Do you see now there's less toxicity in internet, or we have more hate, more fake news?
There are more people on the internet, so I think it makes sense to have more toxicity. No, I'm kidding, but in reality, unfortunately, there is more attempts online for different harassment, bullying, toxicity. Given generative AI now, I think it's also much easier to create different type of content, whether it's text, video, images, etc. But also the technological leverage is becoming better, right? Social networks allowing spread of extreme content because it spreads very well, it engages very well, but there are definitely today the tools to moderate and create better internet at scale, if one so. So yeah, I'm pretty optimistic about the internet getting better and more, not only diverse, but having clean standards. I think it will take some time maybe for regulators to force some of the big technological companies to adopt those best practices.
So tell me, we don't see positive development, but in ideal world, people will just behave and not hate each other, don't bring fake and harassment, bullying. Will OpenWeb be useful or not?
Well, then at least I know that something good happened in the world. If OpenWeb's mission is ain't relevant anymore, I think it will be a good thing as a young father. But for now, I do believe that most people want to be heard. They want to share their opinion. And if we can provide them a platform when they can be heard without being afraid of being attacked, I think we do something pretty cool.
But I believe it will not become obsolete even in very clean environment because you give possibilities. It's not only a fight against hate. It is important, but it's not limited to
100%.
Tell me, okay, we touched two interesting subjects in your answer. First, fake news and fake information. Now, generative AI really created enormous and cheap possibility to generate bad content, fake content, and so on. What do you think? How to fight it?
Well, if I would have all the answers, it would be very easy.
Then OpenWeb will build already $1 trillion company if you had the right. But you still can have some ideas.
Yeah, we have a lot of plans and we're releasing a lot of new products these days. Given the technological advancement of generative AI, it's very relevant to OpenWeb's core technology. So what we are trying to do all day is to almost predict behaviors online and start to see what's type of perhaps negative behaviors or positive behaviors are happening across those 150 million users. Leveraging the historical behaviors and the data of historical labeling of data better help us to forecast and reduce false positive, which is a very simple way of saying we're not perfect, but with more and more data and experience, we're predicting better user behavior and hopefully providing a better user experience to the individuals on the platform.
Second aspect, we mentioned now AI several times. What is your vision and how do you use AI in processes of OpenWeb? How you rely on it and what really implementations you see now and in the future?
Given that we are focusing on moderation and privacy, generative AI is essential in many different aspects. But before we go to the technology, I would just say I'm very excited about, moving fast and solving problems. And for me, just another incredible tool in my toolkit and my team's toolkit. So from engineering to accounting to design, strategy, corp dev, and others, we try to implement artificial intelligence whatever makes sense, and it makes a lot of sense in many cases. So on the moderation level, we released a lot of algorithms based on historical data of training of moderators to scale that, and we see incredible results. We are totally changing the way we are taking products to market and the way we test, the way we write code, the way we make research, and many different aspects. So I'm a huge believer in adopting new technologies, see what works for you, and kind of take it from there. I think for OpenWeb, generative AI is extremely relevant and beneficial, and I think it can really make a huge impact on the quality of online conversations.
I mentioned that when we first met, the project name was SpotIM. Then, I believe, a few years later, you and your team came with new vision. SpotIM is now OpenWeb. First of all, it's a very sound name, but generally, tell me and tell founders and entrepreneurs, does it worth to change the name? Why you did it? And what is vision and what you wanted to achieve, and have you achieved it?
So, well, I love the name SpotIM, and I still have a tattoo of SpotIM on my leg because I lost a bet with our VPHR. I felt the name was not representing anymore what we stand for. And I wanted people to hear the name OpenWeb and get it immediately. Okay, this is what they try to do. They try to fight for the open internet, for content creators, users, and advertisers. And the name SpotIM felt to me almost irrelevant or too small for what you want to do. And we started to think on the mission, the vision, the next milestones, and eventually we realized, okay, we want to be this social layer, like a social, CDN. We call it being like social Akamai across content, commerce, and if we can create this trust and safety layer across sites, this is actually open web. This is open internet. So we felt like the name just say the mission.
And did it work?
I believe so. Yeah, I think it was. We launched the new brand in 2020, and you can definitely see the companies performing since then. And I would say definitely, yeah.
By the way, Nadav, one more question. On Journey, I tell founders, okay, guys, you have great vision. Try to go to it. Quite often, I see entrepreneurs who don't trust themselves, so they are ready to sell company on every possible situation. In your case, tell me if I'm wrong, but I remember there were many approaches, including, I cannot name all companies, but I believe it was largest social network who tried to take over OpenWeb. How you manage to resist, because offers were good, how you managed to resist temptation to sell earlier? And do you think was it right, or it was better to sell those time?
First of time will tell, but I believe that OpenWeb eventually seems like will be a public company and hopefully a pretty successful one in the next decade or so. So only time will tell, but I can tell you that in every pivotal moment, in every time that we got those offers, it just felt to me like so early. I don't know, I just felt I didn't achieve what I wanted to achieve. So yes, I can do it, but then I don't, I didn't feel that I'm there yet. I just felt there was much more energy in me to create. And also, again, I didn't finish high school, so I didn't know what I'll do otherwise.
Okay, it is a good lesson, but founders and investors who support great teams, don't hurry. If you really have great vision, if you really feel that you are on the right way, follow it. Don't be afraid. You will be the winners and you will see a really great achievement. Okay, tell me, today you're already growing, still growing fast, but already grown company with a lot of people. Don't you miss early time when it was like garage startup, just a few guys together with big vision, or more comfortable with today's situation?
I miss a lot of things about it, especially the early days when we can just launch things and you don't need to think about, again, SLA and privacy and million other factors into scale. But now things maybe takes more time to achieve But when things succeed, when they succeed, I think that the impact on the business and everybody around it is significantly larger. So I do enjoy now more the fact that we, OpenWeb, can make more impact eventually faster. To get there is slower, if it makes sense. But I do enjoy each stage differently. There's a lot of amazing things for the early stage, but seeing the team now, these days, doing the thing that we do, it's make me feel proud, excited, and grateful.
Tell me, like great minds always look at business as they just started today. So what is your great vision of OpenWeb as you feel start is today and bright future is ahead?
I think today we focus mostly on content creators, but in the future, OpenWeb login and payments, your user wallet and login will go with you everywhere. Whether you are going to JSON verticals as connected to V, or whether you will go to gaming, or whether one day you'll go maybe to Shopify, our goal is to protect your data and your wallet and to say and to know which publishers are using your data, if at all, where you're paying content to see, who are your friends, what type of content they watch, and being able to take your comments and posts and be able to kind of protect your own identity. So I think eventually we want OpenWeb to be the user wallet and login across the internet and really focus on the moderation aspect and privacy. So I believe that OpenWeb eventually will become like a social ID across the internet.
It really makes OpenWeb happen.
Hell yeah.
One more question. It is a long journey with great achievements and great vision. What is really that keeps you motivated in your journey?
I find a lot of source of energy in creation. So for me, creating new things is something that keeps me very engaged. But also, I love to solve big problems. I get excited when there's a huge challenge, when people are very pessimistic. I think I become very excited. So this was waking up and I love new challenges, and I also love to learn new things. So I find it by building the business, you keep interacting with new humans, new situations, and you learn so much. So the combination of big challenges and learning new things, for me, it's keeping me highly motivated.
Great. It is already a long journey. I understand that money is not main motivator, but tell me, when it will be first billion cash?
You mean positive EBITDA?
No, I mean first billion cash for Nadav Shoval. And hopefully for me as investor.
Hopefully for as many people as possible. I do believe that with the current plan that we have for the next several years, the one that the board approved, OpenWeb will be able to build hopefully a very, very large business that will make a lot of impact on a lot of people. So I'm very much focusing on that, and I think that it's happening every day.
Okay, we sit here in New York. You're already not so young, but still, tell me, does your mom knows what are you doing?
Absolutely not. Every time she see me, she tell me how proud she is of me, and then I tell her proud of what, and she says something with computers and the internet. But yeah, to be honest with you, I didn't understand fully how much parents maybe want the best for their child without even understanding how good they are. But I'm very grateful for my parents for getting me a computer in a young age. Definitely changed my life.
You started the project with idea to make world better, to fight against hate, toxicity, bullying. Tell me, what's your motivation? Were you bullied when you were a child? Have you met a lot of hate around?
As a child, I had actually a disease unrelated called Kawasaki. It harms your kind of fine motor skills. I totally recovered from that, but the fine motor skill challenges didn't allow me to write with a pencil. So I would go to school with the old IBM, and I would connect to IRC, Mirk, back then. And I started just to build chat and messaging in the 90s in Israel, and it just became almost my main thing. That's what I did because I didn't really like school. So going back to online conversation, chatting, messaging, and focusing on toxicity made a lot of sense for me because I already knew how to build communities online. I understand what are the fundamentals needed to get enough people in the same room and have a thoughtful discussion. So it was for me almost like a comfort zone because it's the only thing I knew.
And that become for better. Okay, and now few fire questions. 3 favorite business books.
Effective Executive, Principles, How to Make Friends and Influence People.
Favorite companies.
Nike, Apple, Cisco Technology.
Who would you never take check from?
I think at this stage it's easy to say it, but honestly, I would not take money from anyone that is motivated to harass online or spread disinformation or misinformation. So any government-related money or any motivated kind of politician money is something that I will not take.
What startup you expect to appear and you would eager to invest in?
Every team that can find an interesting application layer, I think on top of big data, these days with generative AI is something that I'm personally very passionate about. So every team that got unique data assets, given unique application or value exchange they created, that you can train different models, which I think will become more a commodity, is something that I will be very bullish about.
Please share in comments what startup are you missing and would be eager to invest in. Your favorite entrepreneur?
Rich Branson. He's fanatic about customer success. He was literally taking support call himself, and it's something I really appreciate.
And you probably liked to fly Virgin.
As well.
If you put some keyword on sticker or on wall in your office, what this word will be?
Persistent.
Persistent. Okay, thank you. Guys, I brought to Nadav my book. He's already a successful entrepreneur and beginner investor, so still it will be helpful for him. Please read it. It is also concentrated knowledge of how to achieve success for entrepreneurs who want to become unicorns and for investors who want to find their unicorn. Nadav, let me present you this book. I hope it will be interesting reading and maybe even useful for you. So, thank you for nice
Thanks for having
discussion.
me. Thanks for coming.
Guys, thank you for being with us. Don't forget to like this and to spread this. More interesting issues are ahead of us, and we'll have very interesting people, my friends, friends of Nadav, and very interesting persons in all the internet industry. Stay tuned and stay focused.